Listen.
When you struggle with credit card bills,
Stand by.
You're not just in debt.
Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
Fantasy Sports puts you in control of your own team. The Nick Bonsanto Show is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, co-hosted by SFL CEO Zach Stanley and SFL COO Seth Young. The Star Fantasy League Show, on the air.
Make this game your finest hour.
Now.
You're up.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined as always by SFL CEO, the Deucey Moose himself, Zach Stanley.
I'm excited to see that it looks like winter is about to come to a close here in Rochester.
He says that as it's snowing in Rochester and it's like 7 or 8 degrees out.
It's pretty warm out.
Oh, man.
It will be.
All right, something that's a little bit warm in here is the affection we have for each other and SFL family
and Teddy
member.
Bear 2.
Yeah, Teddy Bear 2, Nick Stablenko. Welcome back.
Where did the Deucey Moose come from, can I ask?
He randomly decided to say it while we were audio testing a show. He just said, "It's the Deucey Moose."
Yeah, I think it was one of those nicknames that you're fortunate enough that other people pick it up when you say it.
Yeah, Zach
It
wanted
doesn't
to,
usually happen.
Yeah, Zach wanted to make his own. I hate that in sports when players come up with their own nicknames. It's just like, no, you stop that.
All right, well, at some point I'm going to come up with something better than Teddy Bear 2.
I'm sorry, Nick.
That will never be replaced.
Okay, you know
Teddy
what?
Bear 2?
We're gonna run something on Twitter for you. You're gonna get a Twitter new nickname from our fans.
If anybody tweets Teddy Bear 2 to us, we'll give you $5.
That is true. At SFL Show, tweet us, please. No,
That's
seriously.
nice.
Say something about Nick's comments.
All right, on today's show, we have a lot going on. We have obviously breaking down our lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com for basketball for Tuesday.
And tomorrow's my favorite day.
Yeah, Wednesday. We're breaking down the Wednesday NBA lineup. That's Zach's favorite part of the world, the week.
It's just
everything.
It's so exciting.
And in the middle, sandwiched in like a nice little appetizer meal, whatever. We got John's Bill.
It's a main course.
Of course.
It's a main course.
That's true. We're
It
also
really has.
Nick is here to talk hockey in John's mailbag. I believe there's a couple questions just for you in hockey. How excited are you about that?
I am very excited.
All right, coming up after the break, though, we are breaking down our lineups for Tuesday on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Jonathan, your mic's quite a bit louder, so let's come down 4 or 5 dB on that mic.
Monsanto is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show.
Let's do this.
Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
Yep.
You heard the cage man himself. He took a break from his long-winded Jenga game with somebody with a rat. I don't know who he's playing with, but we're breaking down NBA lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Tuesday. I actually know what day it is for once. Are you guys surprised?
I've got a good feeling that Nick's going to come out and do some damage tonight.
For some reason, Nick...
I think he was a little disappointed in his previous performance.
Yeah, he's now lost, I believe it's 9 straight games to me.
9 straight? I don't think that's...
You went up like 5 or 6 nothing on me.
We're going to have to check that.
You went 5 or 6 nothing on me, and then I
All right,
won
well,
everyone
tonight's the night I'm coming back.
Tonight is the night because I have Tony Parker, and he has 0 fantasy points through 2 quarters.
I don't have Tony Parker.
2.
I don't.
2. I know I'm yelling, guys.
I'm a little upset about it myself. I put him in. You think it's a favorable matchup against Kyrie Irving, which is something that we would all talk about.
I think we did talk about it yesterday on Monday's show.
And he's just not getting it done for us. And you know what that is? That is Greg Popovich saying, listen, you're coming out weak, and we're going to give everybody else a few more minutes.
And by a few more minutes, we mean Tony Parker, you're getting 10 minutes.
Do you think you're going to play like that on my team?
All right. We're breaking down to a tangent already on Tony Parker, which
Sounds good.
It's absolutely deserved tonight. But
go back to France.
for those who aren't listening or don't know what daily fantasy basketball is on StarFantasyLeagues.com, first off, what are you waiting for? Why are you listening to the show and not
get
playing?
on this. It's too much fun. You're missing out by just sitting around watching NBA when you could be so much more involved in the game on a daily basis.
And enjoy the games that much more. So if you guys haven't played or don't understand how it works, you get a $100,000 salary cap. You got to put in 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers, 2 utility. That's any player you want. You get the most money, or you get the most points. You win the most money. Pretty easy game, right?
But you can't start any Buffalo Bills. It's actually not possible. I know so that some of our listeners are from Rochester, New York, and they're probably big fans of the Bills or not because they're so miserable. But
which means they still are fans.
But when football comes around, if you really think that there's a Buffalo Bill out there that can perform to an admirable level, then you can put him in your lineup.
Sure, let's not try doing that on StarFantasyLeagues.com. That would probably screw up everything. Let's not do that.
Go Bills.
All right, let's go to Nick since Zach loves to go off on Bills tangents. Absolutely, I think it has to do with the cold weather, right?
It does. I'm feeling the Bills right now.
Right.
And there was the Jarius Bird announcement.
I saw that. Nick,
Sorry,
please break the ice and get into some daily fantasy basketball with your picks.
Let's see what you got.
I think I listened a little bit yesterday. I listened to you guys.
Don't butter us up right off the bat. We're gonna still slam you.
We do drop some heavy knowledge, John.
Some heavy knowledge. Wow. Okay.
All right. I'll start with Reggie Jackson. I started Reggie Jackson tonight.
I have no problem with that whatsoever. What was his price? Do you know?
About 11,000.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little high.
I mean,
that's a little high. I don't know, but this is what I'm thinking. This game could turn into a blowout really quick.
Yeah, very quick.
And he has been getting big minutes anyways. Like, just despite it, he's become the 6th man for this team. And it was really fortunate that he was able to play as much as he did with Westbrook out and kind of show himself off a little bit and show that he can contribute to this team and that he's matured.
Yeah, he matured right before our very eyes this season. He got a lot of run in the playoffs last year. Obviously, it didn't go so well, but yeah, he really got a good run in the regular season. Got to learn the run, basically running that team, right?
Yeah, and he plays a lot. He's not the big offensive explosion guy that somebody would hope for, but he plays really smart.
Yep.
He really does.
That is accurate. Very low turnovers. Assist to turnover ratio is pretty good for him. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Like you said, it is a little high. I'd like him around the 9,000.
But he could definitely get 26 or 27 tonight.
Yeah, he's strictly a backup
against
now.
Philly.
That's why his salary is so high, because he was a starter for so long. It kind of inflated, and now it's just dropping back down. Yeah, I don't hate it.
I heard Philly's really bad. Aren't they really bad?
That's an understatement.
Okay.
Philly is 30th against every position except 2, and they're 29th against.
Yeah, I feel like the game tonight might end up being similar to the Philly Clippers game, in which
120-78. I'm gonna guess that's the final score.
I think
wasn't that like the final score of that game?
It was close. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have Marshawn Brooks coming up next.
Oh, but you've been listening to too much. You've been drinking the Zach Kool-Aid on that one.
Hey, he's doing fine.
Marshawn Brooks had 18, 17 fantasy points the other night. I mean, they're on a back-to-back.
I think he only had like 15 last night. But he's getting the minutes. He's good enough. He's got enough of a repertoire to perform. You said you liked him.
I said
you said you like him as a player.
When the Celtics got him, I loved him. I thought he just didn't have enough time.
He's at 4,900.
Yeah, but okay, when you compare him against the guy that we're probably going to talk about next, Kent Bazemore, you can't compare him. You really can't.
But I don't have a problem putting both of them in.
Yeah,
which is what I did tonight.
The other night I had both of them, I will say. Do you actually have both of them?
No, I don't have both of them.
Oh, you don't have,
he doesn't have
you don't
the
have Bazemore?
I did. Sorry.
Oh my God!
I found other guys I like. What?
You apparently weren't listening.
Are you
going
to tear me apart at some point?
Well, he was at 3,600.
Bazemore is
He was.
owned in like 99.9. Actually, you know what the best part about StarFantasyLeagues.com is? We have late swap. That game hasn't started yet. If you want to take our advice even further and add him to your lineup live on the air, you could actually do that.
Yeah, I think it's such a cool feature, and honestly, I don't understand why people would want it anyway else.
That's true. I mean, if your unfortunate situation is your player got injured or is sitting out like 2 minutes before tip off, you'd be screwed normally.
That
But
happens
guess
all the
what?
time?
Yeah, you go
Happens all
on
the
there,
time?
you see, oh, David Lee's mystery illness sat out. Then, if Tyreek Evans gets stuck in an elevator or something like that, you can take him out.
There you
That
go.
happened the other day. Can you believe that?
Yeah, or if an entire game gets canceled in Mexico City, you can
You could just take him
switch
out.
players out of that.
StarFantasyLeagues.com.
If they decide to play an NBA game in Mexico City for some random reason that makes no sense.
Never going to happen again. They're rescheduling it for somewhere not in Mexico City.
Okay.
Good idea.
Nice.
All right, continue along, Mr. Doesn't.
I wish I had him
Bazemore.
last night, but I have LeBron tonight.
Yeah, everybody wishes he had LeBron. We'll talk about that in Jonathan's mailbag.
All right.
I'm sure that's coming up. But
All right,
yeah,
I'll move on.
You got
All right.
No, you got LeBron. LeBron's.
I know. Probably everybody wanted him last night.
No,
though.
Zach is really high on the brow tonight. He's not. You're not on the.
I am high on the brow tonight, but I don't have a problem with LeBron. Obviously,
If you
mean,
can
the
afford
way
him-
he's been performing has just been so ridiculous. And I can tell you that if you didn't have Al Jefferson or LeBron James in your lineup last night, you probably did not cash.
That is very correct. I believe both of them eclipsed the 60.
But Ty
fantasy.
Lawson also got
That's true. They
54.
Both, yeah, they both eclipsed 60 points. There were a lot.
and
of
Kevin Love
fantasy-
got like 55.
And how about Brooke Lopez? Or sorry, I keep saying that. Robin Lopez got like
Lopez.
47.
All right, I retract my previous statement. You could have won multiple ways last night.
Oh yeah, there was a lot. But I mean, every winning lineup.
But
did
yeah,
have
the
one of
guys
those.
you had the eye on, it was tough to eye Ty Lawson on his first game back, even
true.
though I did.
Wade's coming back tonight. He's going to play. I still like LeBron. I like the matchup in general.
And he's proven over the last several games that Wade is having no impact on his production.
No.
Maybe I would say last night he wouldn't have done that much, but I mean he's still good in the mid 40s and some games in the 50s. So
Yeah, that's perfect. That's
no
perfectly-
problem with that, Nick.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Perfectly
You
acceptable.
chose probably the third best fantasy player in the league so far this year.
Yeah. And the over-under in this game, I believe, is like 217. So enjoy that. That'll be fun.
All right.
All right,
awesome.
continue.
I have Pau Gasol in next. Silence.
yeah.
I'm not
Silence,
gonna go. I'm
both
not gonna
of
go
them.
full crickets on this. I think if Seth said it, I would. But
yeah,
I don't mind this pick that much. I think that things have changed since Gasol met up with New Orleans earlier in the year, and
well, he's playing a different position,
they-
isn't he?
yeah,
now?
they're just so reliant upon his offense. Like he's going to put up the shots. And I'm guessing this will end up being a pretty close game. The Lakers are on a back-to-back, so that's a bit of a concern. But I don't mind the pick.
Is there
What was he
anybody
at,
around there that
16?
you would
He's
pick?
at 16 something.
Yeah, he's at 16.
Yeah, is there anybody around there you would pick?
Personally, I loved Thaddeus Young
Yeah?
tonight. Yeah,
I have Thaddeus too.
He's almost the same price.
But
at
Thaddeus
15,000.
loves to disappoint. He really
That
does.
is-
It's
But
Philly.
he's-
Philly are the wow, they're both
Thaddeus
bad.
loves to get 50 and then give you 20 the next night.
That is
So
true. But I'm still against your brow pick tonight, man. He's been not good since he came back.
that's why I like him so much.
Okay.
I
Tonight's
think
the
this is
breakout?
the breakout.
Tonight's the breakout.
I'm going to go with my favorite
call
comment
it a
ever.
breakout.
We will see, Zach. We will
will
see.
see. All right, well, next I get in my centers. I have Markieff Morris.
All right, Markieff Morris, perfect. Love him. He is absolutely on fire. His salary has not come up. He's at I believe he's at 11,886
Yeah.
on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever.
Nope.
All right. Next is Roy Hibbert.
What's your seriously? I think you've done this twice now. What is your fascination with Roy Hibbert?
I don't know. He just
Oh, see, that's okay.
he's
If
got
you're
a big body.
If you're
he's,
saying
he's a
I
good,
don't know,
he's a good guy down low. I mean, I just think he's got a good matchup down low tonight. I mean, I think it's going to be a back and forth kind of thing.
Not a
He's
fan.
got Bogut. I know Bogut's he's a big guy, but at the same time, Bogut he's a little bit hurt.
I hate to
banged
say
up.
that I'm giving this a little bit of a look. He is into the third period now with 2 points, 2 boards, and a block.
That's bad. All right, who are your last two people quickly so we can either tear you apart or
Eric
not.
Gordon and Darren Collison.
Eric Gordon. Okay, those last two are
I like Eric Gordon tonight.
for his price. Don't you like Tyreek better?
What was
They're
Gordon at?
close. He's like 10.
Oh, well, Tyreek Evans is a must tonight.
Yeah, Tyreek Evans. If you don't have Tyreek Evans in your lineup again tonight, he's starting at he's small forward, right?
Yeah, he's at 11,400.
Yeah,
he's
he's
a guard,
absolute-
actually, on the side.
Absolute must. The guy's amazing. He's put up, almost 50 there now?
Yeah, Nick, we're disappointed.
All right, yeah, we are a little disappointed, but coming after the break, you can redeem yourself in Jonathan's mailbag, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Sounds good, guys.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Seth. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy Leagues team by tweeting at SFL Show.
Yeah.
We are back, but we're only half back because we're spending most of the time laughing at that intro. Thank you, Donald's Mailbag. Thank you, Barney Fife, for being around to record that for us from whatever, 1950. I don't know when that was.
It's hard not to feel fortunate. You know, you see some shows over the course of time that have a little excerpt like that just makes you laugh every time you hear it, and that's what it does for me. I don't know about the rest of the listeners, but I can't get enough of that thing. And honestly, it would be something that, say I was on a road trip and I was getting bored, I would just turn that on.
Really?
I would.
That's your
if
road
I
trip
if I
thing?
had like my own in-car soundboard, I would do that, and I would
really
I would
cool.
cheer up.
If you get one of those,
if I was ever down, I could do it.
If you get one of those new age computers with the onboard, cars with the onboard computer, you could press the sound all the time. That sounds like fun. You know what else sounds like fun? Diving into Giles Mailbag. You know why?
It does.
It's mailbag time.
Because it's your
It
mailbag.
does sound like fun.
This is true. It is mine. All right, let's get right to it. Don Mattingly writes, this question's been sitting in my mailbag for like 5 days now.
It's you get so many. It's
Builds
hard
up.
to pay. Yeah.
Lots of letters.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's hard to pay
get,
attention.
We get lots of letters, yeah. All right, it says, Don Mattingly writes, last year Yasiel Puig lit the baseball world on fire, but had multiple disciplinary issues off the field. This year he came into camp 20 to 25 pounds overweight. Is this a sign of a deeper issue with Puig or not an issue at all?
I think this is absolutely an issue.
This
guy is setting a trend for himself on what he is capable of and what his character is. And it's not a good sign for LA. This is a guy that completely relies on his speed and his spark, and that is not going to do anything good for anybody.
I know. I mean, any drop off for him is going to be dramatic because he was a top 10 player last year when he was playing. All of his stats across the board, you look at it, if he had played the full season, would be top 10.
Triples.
He's incredible. He's going to be good, but what are you doing, buddy? This is your first season.
Baseball's all mental too. The best players in history have had a very sound, mental state. They've been very consistent. They've been very smooth.
And the funny thing, it's not that far off. Like you talk about coming into camp, where you're coming into. This is their job to stay in shape in the off season. Which baseball, it's not
4
that
months.
long of an it's
4
not
months.
a long off season, and they have workouts that go on all winter long.
I think you said it best, though. It's your life. That's your life.
And he's in L.A. or I'm sure he's probably home. What Dominican Republic is from, somewhere like that. Why is he not staying in shape? What is he doing?
Yeah, I just hope we don't run into some sort of Manny Ramirez scenario
this early in his career.
Well,
that's a good idea.
It just seems like you can see these guys coming. Like the Albert Bells. Like you just see them coming. They start early on. They start acting out and doing things they shouldn't be. Yeah, not taking any responsibility for their actions because they feel entitled, and that's what it seems like here. There are people that get exposed. They come into a league, and they get exposed to things, and they make a few mistakes and stuff like that. This seems like just what he wants to be doing.
Well, and he's in L.A., and apparently he's got this flashy sports car. He's getting into trouble with the law, showing up late. Let's hope it's not a trend because he's clearly a really special talent. Mm-hmm. But does it translate over a long period of time with him acting like this?
He's a lot of fun to watch, but this is very damaging, and it doesn't do anything good for your team. It doesn't do anything good for your teammates who are looking to you to be worth your dollar.
That is true. All right, let's move on. No more Puig talk.
I'm getting riled.
Yeah,
Did you see me getting
our
riled?
old buddy Father Mohagan writes, within the last week, LeBron James has had 2 of the best fantasy performances of the entire season. Do you think his performance is spurred by all of the Durant for MVP talk?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing that's basketball. It's a star-driven league. Those guys are going back and forth. They always know that the other guy is – they're always aware of what the other player is doing.
Well, the whole thing of the Kevin Durant for MVP kind of sparked up right before Westbrook came back because he had those, scoring over
ridiculous.
30 every game.
He was off the chart.
Yeah, it was nuts. But these are LeBron's stats in the last week. This is a game on February 26th and obviously last night on Monday. 73 fantasy points the first time, 40 points, 8 rebounds, 16 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, and 68.25 fantasy points on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Last night, 61.7 rebounds, 5 assists.
That's unbelievable.
His first game was much more balanced than last night's. All he did was score last night.
Wow.
LeBron is taking it upon, there was always talk back the last few years, or at least before the last couple years, about who he wanted to be and what he thought he was and how he was going to claim what was his and all that. But it's gotten to the point where he's actually doing it now. And he's actually stepping up and saying, this is what I want. I'm going to be furious if I don't get MVP, and I need to go off every game and play the best that I can at the highest level. And everybody's talking about, well, how do the Heat just, get in gear all of a sudden? How does this all of a sudden happen and they just hit their stride down the stretch? LeBron is hitting his stride by choice.
That is
Wouldn't it be nice to
true.
just hit a switch and be able to do whatever you want?
Well, he's so fast and he's so physical. You literally can only remotely slow him down. You can't even actually slow him down anymore.
Very few players you could ever say could just flip the switch and go.
I mean, there were a couple times last night I was watching some of this game where you're just looking at it, and he has the choice to drive if he wants, and they're sitting back on him, waiting to see if he's going to drive and trying to prepare for him to hit the lane, and he just hits a jumper. Because they're giving him room like you are just nonchalantly playing basketball in the gym room.
He had 8 threes last night, didn't he? Some ridiculous number.
Yeah, he went absolutely nuts.
He's incredible. I'm interested to see how this MVP plays out down the stretch.
But he didn't get the NBA season high. I will say that.
Who cares?
Hello?
Moving on really quickly, this question. Warren Sapp writes, the Tampa Bay Bucks unveiled new uniforms yesterday, I guess. What do you think of their, quote, new, bolder uniforms, unquote?
It looks like there's some higher-ups at Nike that just said, isn't this so cool? Like, look at how exciting these colors are and how flashy they are. And it's kind of like the Seattle Seahawks. You know, this is a little bit of what they're doing. These uniforms look terrible.
They actually said they were Seahawk-like when it came out. No, you're not even. Seahawks have really cool uniforms.
I did not read that.
No, I have that written here. That was written.
But I'm not surprised at all because that's what it is. But somehow the Seahawks jerseys work. They don't really bother me that much.
Yeah, because I mean they're neutral. It's like a blue. It's a neon green. But this is
and
like,
it was along the lines of the colors that they always had.
Yeah, where's
but
the
creamsicle? This is a drastic change.
Where's the Tampa Bay Buck creamsicle uniform?
I wish they would go back to the creamsicle. I was just going to say that.
I'm so depressed. The Buccaneer helmet with their helmet logo is the entire helmet now. It's so ugly. I'm so mad about this.
I mean. Yeah, they look like arena football uniforms.
I completely and the numbers look like the alarm. They look like an alarm clock number. So maybe they keep changing, and then all of a sudden they start buzzing.
Digital.
I have no idea what's going on.
Maybe they just think that they need a change. You know, it's one of these situations where
they're trying to spark it.
Where this is like, hey, this is what we're check it out, fans. This is what we're doing.
Yeah,
now.
change the culture, guys. All right, sure. All right, let's get into the last question. This is Nick's territory. I'm going to give him as much time as he wants, or as much time as we have. Gary Bettman writes, ooh, good. The NHL trade deadline is tomorrow, and we've already seen a few major deals today. Which deal do you see having the most impact for the rest of the season, and are there any other deals you think might happen tomorrow?
The most impact? There are a lot of deals today.
All right, you know what? List off the ones that you think are important or ones that aren't important. Just go ahead. You got 5 minutes.
All right, so the first one I would say is Briskalov. Ilya Briskalov goes to the Minnesota Wild. The Oilers get a 4th-round pick in 2014 for it. I think the Wild are a great team defensively. They play a really solid style of hockey. And right now, Darcy Kemper out there is doing a very great job, especially in terms of fantasy. He's like 10-2 in the last 12 games.
That's pretty good for a goalie.
That's very,
right?
very solid. That's very solid,
So why would they go out and get another goalie?
Depth is important in the NHL. I mean, you have guys playing almost every night. These guys are playing 82 games. It's much like in basketball, in a back-to-back situation, now you have actually an opportunity to play a different player. Your goalie can be solid in that situation. So it's always something to be aware of because, Briskalov could be starting one night, next night it's Kemper. So that's a pretty big one, I would say. Other than that, there's Roberto Luongo went to Florida, which I don't understand. I really don't. I mean, I get it from Vancouver's standpoint because they're getting rid of kind of a drama queen, a saga. It's a Luongo saga.
I don't really have that much distaste for Luongo as a Canucks fan, but this has gone on way too long, and he's got to be pissed off.
Yeah,
he's got to be because he got put through the ringer in the offseason, and now he's gone again.
And he's going back to the team that had him in the first place.
And he just got sat his last game. I mean, it's a divorce that was very necessary, and Vancouver got the Florida #1 prospect for goalie.
Markstrom. But I will say that it's also pretty good for Vancouver because Eddie Lack is going to start taking over in goal. He's going to be the #1 option there. John Tortorella has a lot of confidence in that guy.
So is he someone from a fantasy standpoint you would consider taking?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If he's starting, absolutely. Vancouver hasn't had the best season so far, but at the same time, they play that defensive style of hockey too. I think that Eddie Lack could actually come up big because saves are a big part of the game.
It looks like they're making some youthful moves, not necessarily thrown in the towel at this point, but they're making some moves that say, listen, the Sedin twins are getting old. It's not going to last that long.
Absolutely.
And it's time to make some changes.
Yep, absolutely. The next one that I would have is Dustin Penner. He went to the Capitals, leaving the Ducks. Kind of confuses me from Anaheim's standpoint because he was playing on the top line with Getzlaf and Perry, and he was getting a lot of good looks there. But if that's what they want to do, that's fine.
Big move for the Capitals.
Yeah, big move for them, yeah, because Ovechkin is he's a 40-goal scorer, but he doesn't like to move the puck very much. So they need some guys that are going to dig.
Like this, yeah.
They really do, absolutely. Anaheim is a big winner, though, because they got a lot of draft picks. They got a lot out of that. And then last one I would say is Andrew McDonald goes from the Islanders to the Flyers. I think that's pretty good for the Flyers. They actually pick up an offensive defenseman. That could be very good for McDonald. I think you could see some upswing in his value as well.
All right, so what do you think? We got the NHL trade deadline coming on Wednesday. It's going to happen right before we go live at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
8 o'clock Eastern. Coming up tomorrow, what do you think we're going to be talking about that actually happened on Wednesday?
Are we going to shed tears at the loss of Marty Brodeur?
I don't think so, actually. I was very upset earlier today. I'm a huge Devils fan. That's my guy. But with Briskalov going to Minnesota, that's one of the big players. I will say, though, you need to look for Vanek. Vanek is on the move. I really think he's going to be the one to go. Callahan, I think, stays with the Rangers, and there's a couple more beyond that.
Journeyman. Thomas Vanek becoming a journeyman.
Yeah,
We are going to be talking NHL trade on Wednesday's show. But coming up after the break, we are breaking down Wednesday NBA lineups on StarFantasy.com. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Who did you let down today?
Basketball, hockey, and baseball, and earn cold hard cash every single day. It's legal, it's brand new, and it's awesome. At StarFantasyLeagues.com, you can play your favorite fantasy sport for real money.
You may want to say something like, hey, join us every weekday afternoon, 5 p.m. Pacific for the show. Stand by.
Prove your expertise.
Oh, yeah. Stand by.
Today at StarFantasyLeagues.com. You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Nick Monsanto Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what you guys should do? You should probably contact us via Twitter at SFL Show. Tell us what you think. Send us your questions for Jonathan's mailbag because guess what? We will read anything unless you're not a celebrity.
We'll hook you up.
No, it's not true. If you're a celebrity, clearly if you listen to our Jonathan's mailbag, it's always famous people that send us messages.
Especially Judge Judy.
Yeah, Judge Judy has been away for a while. There haven't been any legal scuffles she's been interested in.
I'm hoping she'll make a comeback soon because she is missed.
I am hoping, yeah. Let's hope some NFL or NBA or NHL star gets into some tussle with the law, and we hear from Judge Judy in Jonathan's mailbag.
Where are you, Judith?
Why do you keep calling?
If you're out there listening, where are you?
Please stop calling her Judith. That's just really awkward. You're making me really uncomfortable.
I think she takes to it, and I think that's been a reason for the fact that she's been listening for so long.
Okay, Judith, if you're
Proper
listening,
name for a proper lady.
If anyone related to Judith is listening, just have her email. We miss her. Zach really misses her. But you know what I don't miss? I don't know. I tried to think of something, but I had absolutely nothing. I blanked. That was sad. Well, I don't miss Seth at all. We went the entire time without mentioning COO of StarFantasy.com, Seth Young. Let's check. Where is he today? He is currently boogie boarding off the coast of Madagascar. Can you believe that?
Well, he said he was going to go to Bratislava soon, too.
You keep bringing up Bratislava. Not a real place.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I know. God.
Yeah, it is, buddy.
All right, let's move on. Tangent over. We love to do our silly little tangents on the Star Fantasy League show because we're a bunch of nerds, right?
Go Bills.
Thing? No, God, no Bills. But we are going to talk daily fantasy basketball on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Wednesday because, Zach, what's Wednesday to you?
Wednesday is the best day of the week for NBA contests. There's so much research to do, which just gets me hyped up because it's kind of an advantage, but, it's tough to put the best team together. But I think you can easily win on Wednesdays, cash, hit double-ups, which are games in which the top 50% of prizes pay out double the prize. When you get so many options that you can examine and really dig into.
So you're saying you're advocating for a more broad, like just flat lineup with everyone kind of around the same salary instead of going really high and then really low?
Yeah, unless there's a lot of injuries, which sometimes there tend to be on nights like these because there's so many games that you can look at players that can really, it's something like Alec Burks on Utah. If Gordon Hayward is injured or something, he's a spot start who can go for 40 fantasy points.
There's not a lot.
He's capable of doing it.
There's not a lot of that on Wednesday, I'll be honest. But let's get into it. What game do you want to look at first on this 10-game slate for NBA Wednesday?
How about the Knicks game?
All right,
I'm interested in the Knicks game.
All right, let's go to New York at Minnesota. Minnesota, for some reason, we were talking about this in the Star Fantasy League's office today. Minnesota's a 9.5-point favorite. I feel like these teams are pretty similar. I don't think this should be a 9.5-point spread.
Well, we talked about this earlier today. I disagree with you. I think Minnesota is much better than them. I think New York is one of the most miserable teams in the league, regardless of record.
They hate each other. They hate their coach. They hate everything.
Didn't Andre Drummond go off against them? He got about like 20-something rebounds.
It was 26 rebounds.
He had 26
Yeah,
rebounds.
he had like 52 fantasy
so
points.
So Kevin Love must start?
Kevin Love does not play that position.
Down low? You don't think he can get? You don't think he can rebound?
Sorry,
Kevin Love's a power forward.
He's a power forward.
But regardless, he is the guy that's going to put up major points. The last time he played them, which was this year, he had 34 points, 15 boards, and 5 assists. Now, that's becoming pretty routine for him.
Yeah, that's like a.
That's like I mean, he's creeping up to 24,000.
Yep.
In salary, which makes him difficult to take because you're going to need to get in the 50s to get value out of him.
Yeah, that is true. 50. Yeah, you can't just have a 42-point day and go, "Oh, that was good." No, it's actually not good anymore. You need to 50s. What about somebody like Pekovic tomorrow night? Because Pekovic, since being back, has actually been pretty serviceable.
I think Pekovic is a viable option. He doesn't have the best matchup, but his salary might dictate.
Well, we did just see, like you said, Drummond got 26 rebounds, so it's possible.
Yeah,
Tyson Chandler's not a pushover.
I've noticed Tyson Chandler being a little bit passive lately, though, regardless of the fact that he's been swooping up a bunch of rebounds. His contact defense hasn't been nearly as tough as it sometimes is.
He probably realizes this team is like an absolute lost cause. Like, I'm not going to put my body on the way.
I think he is. I think it's a shame, though, because if he wants out, then he's auditioning right now.
That's very true. I mean, everyone knows what you're getting in Tyson. He's a guy who single-handedly basically won a championship.
He's the guy that's supposed to be the never say no guy, the team leader, the one that always is the backbone, and we haven't seen that, but we have seen the best season of Carmelo Anthony's career.
You mean offensively?
I think all around.
Really?
Yes, I do.
I think one of the worst teams
I think that he has put in more effort into padding his game, getting better, and leading this team than he ever has.
I was going to say he's not really ever going to be a defensive player, but yeah, this year he actually seems like he's giving it his all, and that's not something you could always say about Carmelo. I mean, there were those years towards the end in Denver, and I mean, there have been some times in New York.
Yeah, where he's been criticized for taking nights off.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened this year. He's been 100% nearly every game. And he put up 22 points only, but had 17 boards last time they played Minnesota. Minnesota's 22 against small forwards. I think he's worth a look tomorrow for sure in what's going to be a high-scoring game. I also think as a sneaky play, you might want to look at Kevin Martin, who tore them up last time for 30 points. He doesn't do much else. We know that. He doesn't do much else. But true. He had a few steals. He had some assists, a couple boards. And the Knicks are ranked 27th against shooting
He's got
guards.
the abysmal J.R. Smith guarding him, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy that's already on vacation, J.R. Smith.
No, he's not already on. His life is a vacation.
I mean, he got that fat it's so disappointing to see players like this.
Yeah, who's paying him?
It really
Seriously.
is. I mean, they gave him such a fat contract because they didn't want to lose him because he was one of the only offensive pieces that they could rely on, but they can't rely upon him now. His field goal percentage is one of the worst in the league. I can't stand him.
I mean, yeah.
All right, you know what? No, let's not even give him any.
I think I did this yesterday.
Let's not give him.
I think I
anything.
ranted on J.R. Smith.
No more
yesterday.
J.R. Smith talk. We are done with him. Let's move on to a game that's going to have another nice over/under. Actually, a huge over/under. Excuse me. Dallas at Denver, 218-point over/under. We have to be talking about this game, right?
I think there are a few people in play here. I know that the matchup for Lawson isn't that great, but he's performed reasonably well this year. 19-11, 20-9, and a few rebounds.
And he looked good when he came back the other day.
He
really
looked
good.
Awesome yesterday.
I think this is another case of holding a player out until he's actually ready to go, as opposed to playing him 12 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Just get him out there, get him his full run, and see what he can do.
Yeah, I was really impressed. And last night he played like a guy that really wanted to fight. He kept them in the game, which was unbelievable because they were down 23 in the third at one point. But he's a fighter. I think this could be a good game for him. And I also like Kenneth Faried a lot, who has exhibited some of that same fight. He's had a great few games. He plays as hard as anybody else, and I don't really see somebody down low on Dallas that can compete with his quickness or athleticism.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. All the bigs on Dallas are just.
I have a question. You guys, John, you actually say this a lot. You say never to play against Dallas guys.
No, I don't.
You say you don't like to do it.
I personally don't do it because they're basically middle of the road at every position.
They've been getting a little bit worse.
That's actually true. They have been. They used to be basically between like 12 and 17.
They've snuck up to 19th against the power forward spot.
And 21 against the small forward.
Yeah,
that's true.
I love Faried tomorrow, honestly. And he had a double-double in both games that they played so far this year.
Yeah, the whole thing about not liking them is because there's always either a better or a worse matchup to look at. So if you if you see these numbers, you're like, 17th against this position. It's like it's not that advantageous to take somebody against.
Yeah, this is good because it's high scoring. There's a few favorable matchups on the board. I also am a little intrigued by Sean Marion tomorrow. I know he creeps down so much.
Matrix.
He creeps down so much. Because he has so many stalled out games and then he just goes off. I think this could be one of those ones where you see. I mean, Denver loves to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
I think he could get a bunch of steals. I think he could get a bunch of boards, and I think he could break out, in the passing lane a lot.
I don't hate it that much.
I would never say that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever mentioned Sean Marion on the radio.
Will you mention
or maybe ever?
Will you mention him again if he does not live up to the hype? Though?
No,
That's
he'll be
question.
done the rest of the season. There'll be no
I will
more
talk
Marion.
about him.
No more Marion.
Well, I may go out of my way to say I am never taking him again.
That's true. All right, let's move to another game with a lot of glaring spots to look at. Sacramento at Milwaukee, over under 206.5. This should be a close game. I'm seeing a lot of green on my cheat sheet, which means that these teams are awful at certain positions guarding certain positions.
In my opinion, this is redemption night from a fantasy perspective for DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Somehow, so he got a couple cheap fouls called on him last night. They were pretty bad, and he ended up getting 4 fouls early in the third quarter when he had 19.5 points going into that third quarter. He sat the last 9 minutes of the third, and so he didn't produce how people would have hoped that he would. But I can't see anybody even remotely slowing him down. At least. Anthony Davis is there in Sacramento, when they went up against Sacramento last night. But Milwaukee, I don't even know what to say about Milwaukee. They are so bad down low. Larry Sanders was the only big body that they had down there.
Yeah, John Henson weighs about 75 pounds sopping wet, so I don't think he's going to man up and guard him. Ilyasova, again, undersized guy.
Yeah, I think Cousins is good for 40-plus tomorrow night, for sure.
Yeah, 40 plus is pretty easy.
I gave a look to Brandon Knight, but I'm not really sure. It seems like the nights that Brandon Knight goes off don't really actually make sense. He just has a really good shooting night and ends up scoring a bunch of points, but I don't know.
Is the Nate Wolters experiment over?
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, that was fun.
Middleton's been getting a ton of play. Brandon Knight's taking a ton of. It's just.
Are the Bucks really just kind of distributing?
The word
They're
is
just
tanking.
Distributing to everybody. Is that what they're doing? They're just kind of spreading it out.
Ilyasova had 31 and 7 the other day. So
they're just sticking to the mid-20s.
I like Ilyasova against the matchup. I think he could do some damage. Obviously, he's not going directly up against DeMarcus Cousins. He's probably drawing Jason Thompson and whoever else is going. It's a small forward, but I like Ilyasova tomorrow night.
I'm not going to touch him.
Not going to touch Ilyasova?
I can't touch him. He drives me absolutely nuts.
He went crazy the other
Every
night.
time we talk about him, I say how he drives me nuts. He is so inconsistent.
All right, then who do you want to talk about? Those are the 3 or 4 games that we actually probably would look to take most of our players from. Do you agree with that?
I'm looking at the Portland game.
Are you? Atlanta, Portland? I guess there's some interesting. Millsap probably not going to play again. Damian Lillard has a stomach illness, missed practice today. So if he can't go, how about my boy Robin Lopez?
Yeah, if he can't go, I think the front court will totally dominate this game. I also think that guys like Mo Williams definitely will be worth looking at if Lillard ends up being out.
Play, yeah, that's correct.
But yeah, in this game, Aldridge should absolutely go off. He hasn't had that big game.
Well, he's got nobody to go. He's got to go in. It's like basically Elton Brand.
There's nobody that can guard him. He hasn't had a big game since he got back. And if Lillard ends up being out, I think the front court will totally dominate this game. They'll just take over.
How about Jeff Teague? I guess if Lillard plays or if he doesn't play, I like Jeff Teague.
I love Jeff Teague tomorrow. Absolutely.
Okay. My final one from this game would be Mike Scott. Mike Scott has been an absolute breath of fresh air since Millsap's been out. He's been taking over games.
He has. He's played very well, and I think they're going to have to start him again this game, regardless. You know, they've made some decisions to go small.
Well, he's going to be either the 3 or the 4 tomorrow night. Yeah.
But he'll definitely be starting this game, and I think he'll get his fantasy points no matter what. I can't imagine his salary has gone up that much on Star Fantasy. So
no, I bet it's probably around the nines, right, for Mike Scott?
It's got to be
8s or 9s. Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with taking him. Any other value plays you have tomorrow night, or top guys you want to mention before we wrap this up?
I would give a look to Gortat tomorrow night.
Yes,
He's going up
Gortat.
against Utah, 24th in centers. He had 14 points, 11 boards last time that they played. A couple other fantasy points in their blocks and steals.
That was with Nene too, right? Nene was in
that
game.
And that was when they weren't totally relying on him down low, but. Man, Utah is miserable down there.
And
they don't. Yeah, he's been on fire. They don't have anybody to stop him. No way.
Yeah, Derek Favors in his 6.5 fantasy points. Oops, he's bad.
I don't want to talk.
I had him yesterday. That
was
a big
Zach.
game.
Yeah,
so did I.
for him.
I mean, a lot of people had him. Honestly, he had a favorable matchup. He had performed well the last time that they went up against each other. But
right, before you give your play of the day, I have to give a shout out to Jared Bayless, who's been playing really well since he started at the 2. Gerald Wallace is gone. A lot of players aren't on that Celtics team. Again, Rajon Rondo has to be playing as long as he's healthy. I absolutely love it. Zach, who's your play of the day? Give it to me.
My play of the night, tomorrow night, Wednesday, is DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, that makes
bounce
sense.
back game.
He should. He has an absolutely amazing matchup against Milwaukee. They have no bigs. Perfectly okay with it. And coming back to the break, we're wrapping this baby up. If you're listening to the Star Fantasy Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Yeah, he ain't gonna see no action. They're shopping him.
Attention.
9229. Call Lear Capital now.
2 minute close. Here we go.
800-631-9229.
The Star Fantasy League Show is now part of the Nick Monsanto Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
Get it?
I believe he said information is key to unlocking the power and the sword and the stone. Is that what a voiceover guy said? I'm trying to listen every time to the close of the show.
You have to harness the power.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea. This show is wrapped up. Keep your radios on. Please listen. Mr. Seth Young will be back on Friday's show, I believe, or Thursday's show, depending on if he comes back from his snowshoeing or paddleboarding, boogie boarding expedition.
Could afford a few more days without him.
Thank you to Nick Stablenko for filling in so wonderfully. You actually know what you're talking about. You give some good research.
A little hockey perspective.
That is true. We get some hockey. Although Seth doesn't know hockey, he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
I appreciate the run on hockey.
Seth knows
that
that involves ice. and blades that attach themselves to the ice.
Well, it's really funny because Seth's wife loves hockey. Huge Rangers fan. He's like, I like hockey too. Hockey good.
Right. I respect her decision. I like it. I like speaking hockey with her wife or with his wife.
With her wife?
With her wife.
Whoa, hey.
Sorry, that was an inadvertent shot.
He does have a feminine touch.
The best part is Seth's probably watching, or sorry, Seth's probably listening and watching on YouTube. And he's that was for Seth if you enjoyed that. We're now on 5 days a week on the Star Fantasy League show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. If you want to listen, there's a bunch of different ways to listen, or if you want to watch our stream on YouTube, we don't care. Any way you watch this,
it's tons of fun to be on here talking fantasy. We get to go over it every day. Talk about what's going on, and obviously the mailbag adds a little flavor to it.
Yeah, guys, email us or tweet us at SFL Show. Send us your questions. We'll answer anything in Donald's mailbag, even if you're not famous.
And if you want to make up some sort of famous name for us to talk about, that's fine too.
That is true. If you want some free value on StarFantasyLeagues.com, if you want to get into playing daily fantasy sports, basketball, hockey, baseball, football, any of it, tweet us at SFL Show with your username on StarFantasyLeagues.com. $5 free in your account, no strings attached.
We'll give you $5. We got $1, $2 games. We got free rolls every day. We got Star Points games where you can work up to playing cash games just by playing them. There's so much to do. There's so many different types of contests.
Yeah,
it's time to get involved.
It's the best time to get involved. Wednesday, $1,500 guaranteed for NBA. So if you're hearing this and you want to start playing, tomorrow's the day to start doing it.
It's going to just keep getting better.
That is very true. And if you guys don't know who the heck Roberto Luongo is, we'll help you make a better lineup next time. Take it easy, guys.
Good show, guys.